On a seemingly perfect day, a wife disappears without a trace. What starts as a desperate search quickly spirals into a media frenzy, suspicion, and revelation of dark secrets lurking beneath the surface. In Gone Girl, Gillian Flynn weaves a chilling psychological thriller that exposes how love can be a lie and trust a weapon. This is not just a story of a missing woman. It's a twisted game of manipulation, revenge, and survival where no one is innocent and every truth has a hidden face. Amy and Nick Dunn seemed like the ideal couple. Married 5 years, living in a quiet Missouri town, their life appeared flawless, or at least that's what the outside world believed. But beneath the surface, cracks had begun to form. Nick, a former journalist, was struggling to find work and financial stability. Amy, the daughter of wealthy parents, was battling feelings of dissatisfaction and loneliness. Their marriage, once full of passion, had dulled into routine and resentment. On the morning of their 5th wedding anniversary, Amy vanished. The house was in disarray, a strange note left behind that hinted at a violent struggle. Panic set in as police were called, and the search for Amy began. Nick's calm demeanor raised eyebrows. Was he genuinely worried, or hiding something darker? Media outlets descended, painting Nick alternately as a grieving husband and a prime suspect. Neighbors and friends revealed stories of marital tension, fueling public speculation. As police dug deeper, they uncovered evidence that seemed to incriminate Nick. Inconsistencies in his story, signs of a fight, and his affair with a younger woman. But was everything as it seemed? Amy's disappearance was just the beginning of a harrowing unraveling. A labyrinth of lies that would challenge perceptions and reveal how deeply people can deceive, even those closest to them. The police investigation intensified as officers combed through the Dunn home, searching for clues that might explain Amy's sudden disappearance. Nick cooperated fully, but his every word was scrutinized under the harsh light of suspicion. Reporters swarmed the small town, broadcasting every detail to a captivated national audience. The media frenzy painted a complicated picture. A husband who seemed both heartbroken and strangely detached. A wife who might have been trapped in a failing marriage. As public opinion swayed like a pendulum, new evidence surfaced. Amy's diary entries, chronicling a growing fear of Nick's temper and unhappiness. The diary portrayed a woman descending into despair, hinting that she might have fled to escape her husband. The pressure mounted on Nick, his life unraveling as he faced not only the legal system but the judgment of a watching world. Meanwhile, flashbacks revealed their relationship's darker moments. Arguments, mistrust, and secrets kept in silence. But the truth was far more complicated than anyone imagined. As the story unfolded, it became clear that Amy was not merely a victim but a master of control and deception, orchestrating a plan that would challenge everyone's understanding of love and betrayal. As Amy's diary entries continued to emerge, the public's perception of her shifted. The once beloved cool girl appeared instead as a woman trapped in a cage of her own making, filled with anger and despair. But behind those words lay a meticulously crafted plan. Amy wasn't running from Nick. She was running the show. In a series of calculated moves, she faked her own disappearance, planting clues designed to implicate her husband. Each detail was designed to manipulate police, media, and public opinion, showcasing her as a victim and Nick as a villain. Meanwhile, Nick struggled with the duality of grief and frustration. He was forced to confront his own flaws, the affair, his temper, and his emotional distance. Yet, as he denied the accusations, a part of him also grappled with guilt and confusion. The town was divided. Some believed in Nick's innocence, while others condemned him without a second thought. Amy's story became a dark dance of cat and mouse, with every move designed to pull Nick deeper into suspicion and despair. But beneath the layers of lies, both were prisoners of their own making, caught in a dangerous game where the stakes were life, love, and freedom. The tension in the small Missouri town was palpable as the investigation dragged on. Amy's disappearance had become more than a local tragedy. It was now a national obsession. Every news outlet dissected the Dunn marriage, the secrets behind the seemingly perfect facade, and the explosive allegations swirling around Nick. The courtroom of public opinion was merciless. Yet, as the days passed, it became evident that the story was far from straightforward. Amy's diary had played a pivotal role in turning public sentiment against Nick. Each entry was a glimpse into a troubled woman's mind, recounting her fears and frustrations in the marriage. She wrote of feeling trapped, of Nick's growing coldness, and of moments when she feared for her safety. These revelations painted a haunting picture of a woman struggling beneath the weight of a loveless relationship. However, some began to notice inconsistencies. The polished prose, the overly dramatic turns, the sudden shifts in tone, that hinted at something more sinister. Those who dared to look deeper sensed a calculated narrative, a manipulation designed to evoke sympathy and rage simultaneously. Nick, on the other hand, was living a nightmare. His private grief was magnified 1,000-fold by suspicion and scorn. The man who once held dreams of a simple life was now vilified as a possible murderer. The affair he had tried to keep secret was weaponized against him, fueling the theory that he had motive to harm Amy. Yet, beneath the public persona, Nick was a man grappling with confusion, guilt, and desperation. He maintained his innocence, but the cracks in their relationship were undeniable. The truth of their marriage, marked by love, betrayal, disappointment, and passion, was messy and human, far from the black and white narrative the media portrayed. Amy's plan was unraveling in her mind as well, but she was always one step ahead. She had chosen a remote location for her disappearance, relying on a carefully orchestrated trail of evidence to mislead authorities. Her goal was clear: to punish Nick for his betrayals and to reclaim control over a life where she had felt powerless. Yet, as she moved through this shadowed existence, living off the grid and relying on false identities, the toll on her psyche was immense. She wrestled with loneliness and the constant fear of discovery, even as she reveled in the power she held over the narrative. The media frenzy fueled public debate. Was Amy a victim or a villain? A cold mastermind or a desperate woman? Books, articles, and televised discussions attempted to decode the motivations and psychology behind the case. The story tapped into deeper societal anxieties about marriage, gender roles, and the performative nature of public identity. People saw reflections of their own fears and experiences in the unfolding drama. Meanwhile, the police worked tirelessly to find Amy, following every lead while piecing together the puzzle that the Dunns had become. Detectives sifted through false clues, misleading notes, and staged scenes, each crafted with chilling precision. Nick's legal team fought to protect him from what they saw as an unfair witch hunt, while Amy's manipulations kept investigators chasing shadows. Amidst this chaos, the true nature of the Dunn marriage emerged as a dark mirror of modern relationships, where love can be a battlefield, and where the truth is often a shifting, elusive thing. The story forced everyone involved, and those watching from afar, to confront uncomfortable questions about trust, identity, and the masks people wear. As the investigation reached critical points, Amy's control began to slip. Pressure mounted, risks grew, and the walls of deception threatened to collapse. Yet, through it all, she remained fiercely determined, driven by a complex mix of revenge, pain, and survival instinct. Nick's world was equally turbulent. His struggle was not only against suspicion but against the painful reality of a marriage that had spiraled into darkness. His fight was as much internal as it was external, battling despair while clinging to hope for redemption and justice. This was no simple story of disappearance. It was a harrowing exploration of the human psyche, the fragility of relationships, and the devastating consequences of secrets left to fester. The truth was waiting to emerge from the shadows, a truth that would upend lives and challenge everyone's assumptions about love and betrayal. The media circus around Amy's disappearance grew more intense, with every detail scrutinized and sensationalized. Nick found himself trapped not only by the law but by the relentless narrative crafted by the press. Headlines screamed accusations and doubts, turning his life into a public spectacle. Friends and family became divided, unsure of whom to believe, caught in the crossfire of suspicion and sympathy. Nick's attorneys worked tirelessly to dismantle the evidence against him, arguing that the diary was a fabrication, twisted script designed to frame him. Meanwhile, Amy was living a dangerous double life, hiding in plain sight, carefully managing her new identity, and manipulating those around her to maintain the illusion. Her psychological state was complex. While driven by revenge, she also struggled with loneliness and the fear that her plan might fail. Back in town, community members began to question their initial judgments. Some saw Nick's flaws but doubted his guilt. Others felt the media had painted an unfair portrait, highlighting the performative aspects of the investigation and public opinion. As the police followed leads, an unexpected discovery challenged everything. Evidence suggested Amy might have staged her disappearance, turning suspicion into certainty. The revelation sent shockwaves through the case and ignited fierce debates about truth, trust, and manipulation. At the heart of it all were two people locked in a psychological war, each hiding secrets and motivations that blurred the lines between victim and villain. The story of Amy and Nick was more than a crime. It was a dark exploration of human nature, deception, and the devastating power of lies. As the truth slowly unraveled, it became clear that this was a battle that would leave no one untouched, forever changing lives and perceptions. As investigators dug deeper, the intricate layers of Amy's plan began to surface with chilling clarity. She had meticulously orchestrated every detail of her disappearance, staging a crime scene in their home, planting misleading clues, and carefully scripting the narrative that would turn the town, the media, and the police against Nick. Her diary, once seen as a heartfelt account, was revealed to be a work of fiction, a psychological weapon crafted with precision. Amy's ability to manipulate extended beyond mere documents. She had established new identities, created false trails, and even cultivated relationships in the shadows to support her story. Meanwhile, Nick's world continued to crumble under the weight of public suspicion. His every move was monitored, every word analyzed. Yet, amidst the storm, Nick refused to give in to despair. He fought not only for his freedom but for the truth to come to light. He sought allies in his defense team, the community, and even within himself, uncovering strengths he didn't know he had. The media, hungry for sensational updates, began to question their initial assumptions. Documentaries and opinion pieces debated the ethics of their coverage and the dangers of rushing to judgment. The case became a symbol of the dark side of media frenzy and the complexities of truth in the digital age. As the legal battle escalated, Amy's absence weighed heavily on all involved. Her motives, rooted in betrayal, pain, and a desire for control, added a human dimension to a case often reduced to headlines. This wasn't just a missing person or a murder mystery. It was a haunting story of how love can twist into obsession and how truth can become the most elusive prey. With every revelation, the lives of Nick, Amy, and their community were forever altered, leaving questions that would linger long after the case closed. As the months dragged on, The courtroom became the stage for a psychological battle unlike any other. Nick's defense team worked tirelessly to expose the truth behind Amy's disappearance and the fabrications she had woven. Witnesses were called. Experts testified about the manipulative nature of Amy's diary, and evidence was meticulously examined. Nick, once vilified by the court of public opinion, slowly began to regain his footing. His sincerity and vulnerability touched some hearts, though skepticism lingered. Amy, from her hidden refuge, watched the proceedings unfold with calculated detachment. She monitored news reports and public reactions, fully aware of the chaos she had unleashed. The media circus continued, with commentators split between sympathy for Amy and support for Nick. The public's fascination was fueled not just by the mystery but by the raw exposure of marital turmoil played out on a national stage. The courtroom drama unveiled not only the legal complexities, but also the deep emotional wounds between two people trapped in a toxic relationship. As new layers of the truth surfaced, the line between victim and perpetrator blurred, forcing everyone involved to confront uncomfortable realities about love, trust, and deception. Despite the turmoil, Nick remained focused on one goal: to reclaim his life and reveal the truth. The story of Amy and Nick became a haunting reminder of how appearances can deceive, and how the most dangerous lies often come from those closest to us. The courtroom drama reached a fever pitch as Nick took the stand, his voice steady but filled with raw emotion. He spoke candidly about the highs and lows of his marriage with Amy, the love, the betrayals, and the secrets they both kept. His testimony revealed a complex portrait of two deeply flawed individuals locked in a toxic dance of manipulation and pain. The prosecution countered with Amy's carefully constructed narrative, painting her as the ultimate victim. Yet, cracks in her story began to show, and whispers of doubt echoed through the courtroom. Outside, the public remained captivated, debates raging over social media and talk shows. The case had transcended its legal bounds, becoming a cultural phenomenon that sparked conversations about marriage, media influence, and the nature of truth. As the trial progressed, the truth became a moving target, each revelation shifting the narrative and forcing everyone to question what they believed. Amy's disappearance was more than a crime. It was a mirror reflecting the complexities of human relationships, the masks people wear, and the lengths they'll go to control their stories. For Nick, the battle was as much internal as external, fighting not only for justice but for the chance to reclaim his identity beyond the headlines. The story of Gone Girl serves as a chilling reminder that beneath the surface of every perfect facade lies a tangled web of secrets, and that sometimes the most twisted truths are hidden in plain sight. As the courtroom saga unfolded, Amy's carefully woven facade began to unravel. Her calculated manipulation and deception could no longer hide beneath the layers of false evidence and crafted emotions. The jury was confronted with a complex puzzle. Was Amy a victim of circumstance, or a mastermind orchestrating an elaborate scheme? Expert witnesses testified about psychological manipulation and sociopathic behavior, offering chilling insights into Amy's motives. Meanwhile, Nick's defense presented evidence of Amy's past patterns of deceit and control, painting a portrait of a woman who used her disappearance to exact revenge. Outside the courtroom, public opinion remained divided. Some hailed Amy as a tragic figure, while others condemned her as a dangerous manipulator. The media frenzy showed no signs of abating, feeding off the drama and moral ambiguity of the case. For both Nick and Amy, the trial was a crucible of truth and survival. Each revelation chipped away at their facades, forcing a confrontation with the raw realities of their fractured relationship. The story became a cultural touchstone, a modern parable about trust, betrayal, and the fragility of identity. It left audiences questioning how well we truly know those closest to us, and how far people will go to control the narrative of their lives. As the trial neared its conclusion, tensions in the courtroom were palpable. The final arguments presented a clash not just of facts, but of perspectives and emotions. The prosecution argued that Amy's disappearance was a calculated attempt to frame her husband, a cruel act born from anger and revenge. The defense countered by highlighting Nick's flaws, but insisted that he was not the monster the media had portrayed him to be. The jury, tasked with sifting through layers of deception and conflicting testimonies, grappled with the blurred lines between truth and lies. Meanwhile, outside, the media frenzy reached a fever pitch. The public debated fiercely, their opinions shaped as much by sensational headlines as by the complexities of the case. The trial had become a mirror reflecting society's fascination with scandal, the fragility of relationships, and the human capacity for deceit. Ultimately, the verdict was not just about guilt or innocence. It was a commentary on trust, perception, and the masks people wear. Gone Girl leaves us with haunting questions. How well do we know the people we love? How far will someone go to rewrite their story? And in a world obsessed with appearances, can we ever truly find the truth? Gone Girl is more than just a thrilling mystery. It's a powerful exploration of the complexities of trust, identity, and the facades we maintain. Amy and Nick's story reminds us that beneath the surface of any relationship lies a world of secrets, motivations, and contradictions. It challenges us to question appearances and to recognize that truth is often layered and elusive. Above all, it warns of the dangers of manipulation, both of others and of ourselves. As you reflect on this tale, remember, trust is fragile, and sometimes the people closest to us are the ones we know least. Thank you for watching, and if this story captivated you, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into stories that reveal the hidden sides of human nature.